what's good, Josh? Your boy J Suave. I am the host of J Suave TV. And y'all see the backdrop, so y'all already know what I'm about to talk about. One of the most controversial movies of 2025 so far. Yes, Superman 2025 is out in theaters. Definitely was one of my most anticipated movies of this year. Not gonna lie, I was right up there with Fantastic Four, which thankfully drops in 2 weeks and not the same week that Superman dropped like I initially thought it did. And when it comes to the Superman movie, I've seen a lot of different thoughts on it. I've seen a lot of people absolutely loving it, appreciating the direction that James Gunn has taken this new DCU. But there's also a good amount of people who are just not a fan of this movie at all. And I fall on the other end of it. I cannot see how you don't like this movie. Like, that ass. If you fall in that class of people who didn't like this movie, please drop in the comments why you did it. I'm definitely interested to hear what y'all got to say on it. But like I said, I like the movie. I think it's definitely one of the best movies to drop this year. I don't even think that's a question. And I'm very excited to see where James Gunn takes the rest of the DCU after this movie. But we're here to talk about Superman today, so I'm going to give y'all my thoughts. But before I do that, y'all already know what y'all got to do. Y'all go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. To the one person who voted on my YouTube poll for me to record and post this tonight, this one's for you. Thankfully, the Ironheart recording that I was doing yesterday did not make me late to this movie. I got there well before the movie even started. I had an 11:10 showing. I got to the movie theater at like 11:30, 11:35, and we still had about 10 minutes of credits left. At that point, I already knew I was going to be in that movie theater till right before 2 o'clock in the morning. The runtime of the movie was like 2 hours and 9 minutes. I really like the way they chose to start this movie. It basically breaks down the history of metahumans up until this point in the world. And not only that, they actually account for when Superman first came to Earth, when he started to don the title as Superman. Give us some much needed context on this war that Superman ended prior to the start of this movie, I think 3 years ago. And now the consequences of that war are affecting him to this very day. It's crazy I'm even saying this, but the first time we see Superman in this movie, he's getting dropped. And that's a big complaint that I see a lot of people having, is that Superman is getting beat up by everybody in this movie. Which he is, but we also see Superman getting busy in this movie at the same time. What do y'all want him to do? Knock everybody's head off? Gotta give a huge shout out to Dave and Corin Sweat for managing to keep Superman as consistent as possible throughout this movie. The Superman in this movie is unwavering. He stays committed to keeping the people of Metropolis safe. Any opportunity he has to save somebody, he's going to save them. And he's not moving like those characters in another cinematic universe we know and love. No, he's keeping the property damage to a minimum. There was this part of the movie where this kaiju in the middle of Metropolis was trying to stomp out Superman, and this dog was just sitting under the foot barking at Superman while Superman trying to keep the dog from getting stepped on. I know he was getting tight trying to communicate with that dog. He was not trying to budge. But what does he do? He literally blows the dog out of the way, saving his life. Every life is precious to this version of Superman, and I really like the direction they took his character in this movie. Anyway, Superman's out in the middle of his ice tundra. He calls for Krypto, who people were also mad was included in this movie. They were comparing Krypto to the GOAT in the Thor Love and Thunder movie. First of all, who remembers the GOAT from the Thor Love and Thunder movie? Who is out here actively bigging up that GOAT? Nobody know who that is. You cannot put Krypto and that GOAT in the same conversation. You will look foolish. Who know Krypto? People don't know that GOAT. What's his name? I don't know. You don't either. That's why you described it as that GOAT, but they not in the same conversation. They just two animals. Krypto serves a central part in this movie, and there's a reason why he was introduced at the very beginning of it. He's not just a gag character. He's literally Superman's dog. And we see when Krypto is going through it, Superman is going through it. Krypto, in a way, serves as a trigger for Superman. I know y'all seen how crazy he was about to go on Lex Luthor when he kidnapped his dog. He was about to lose all his shit in that office. The bond between a man and his dog is simply unbreakable. I can relate to where Superman is coming from. Like I said, I feel like Krypto is a key part in this movie, but I don't feel like his appearances in it are too overbearing to warrant those negative comments on him. I feel like we get just enough of him to understand he and Superman's relationship, and to also further show that despite the fact that Superman is an alien, he's just a regular guy with a dog too. An alien dog that's gonna get busy. Anyway, Krypto picks him up and brings him back to this lair where he's greeted by these robot servants, I guess. Set him up in this chair where he will receive some sun rays, bringing him back to full HP. He can go back to squabble with Ultraman back in Metropolis. The robots in this movie, they were cool. They were decently funny. Nothing to write home about. It was sad to see how Lex Luthor and his gang did them later on in this movie, though. No lie. Especially when you consider the little that Superman still has from his home planet in Krypton. It's literally just the robots, Krypto, and that message from his parents. We're gonna get back to that later on. Anyway, he immediately makes his way back to Metropolis to fight Ultraman. But then Ultraman puts him on his ass again. Although, unlike the first drop, and something different happened when Superman got dropped this time. Similarly to how people are feeling about the Superman movie, we had two different communities of people. We had the side who sympathized with Superman, was checking in on him, seeing if he was okay. We had the other side, bro. We had people who were actively celebrating Superman's loss. These people are in Lex Luthor's camp, and oh my god, Bro, when I tell y'all this man Lex Luthor is the biggest hater I've seen this year. This man Nicholas Holt's performance as Lex Luthor deserves some type of award. He was cooking. The levels he was willing to sink to in order to tarnish Superman's name in this movie needs to be studied. Not only did he have Ultraman go over to Metropolis in order to specifically beat Superman's ass, not only did he have him come off as if he was a soldier from that one country that Superman liberated from that war some years back. Come to find out by the end of the movie, Ultraman is a clone of Superman. My son used Superman's own face in order to get into his crib, the Fortress of Solitude, and fuck shit up in there. He had Superman out there literally battling himself. He made sure his opponent was somebody he couldn't beat. That's not even the worst of it. This man Lex seemingly twists the message that Superman's parents sent out to him when he first got over to Earth. Now, I don't know if he really twisted this up or if this is what his parents were generally saying. I want to say this is what his parents were legit saying, because at the end of the movie we see Superman looking at his other parents that were on Earth that picked him up in Kansas. What Lex was saying to the people actually was true. I don't really know just yet. If y'all want to drop that in the comments too, let me know. Yeah, if that's the case, Superman's parents was on some other shit. Lex is doing all this hating simply to get Superman up off the board, and he succeeds in doing so. Not by his own hand. See, Superman decides to turn himself in after getting publicly embarrassed by people that once thought he was there to help them. He decides the best way to protect the city is for me to just turn myself in. Real stand-up guy. Mind you, this is after Lex did everything he did to the Fortress of Solitude. He is still willing to turn himself in for the betterment of the citizens of planet Earth. The thing I liked about this movie is the fact that they're constantly promoting that Superman is not from Earth. But despite that, still seeing the lengths he's willing to go to for the people that are from this planet. Meanwhile, Lex could give a damn about anybody that's living on Earth. Trapping multiple people in this void state he somehow created. Created the black hole that was 4 or 5 seconds away from eliminating Earth altogether. Mr. Terrific, Lois, and the rock dude that Superman was with managed to come through to save Superman, expose Lex, and clear Superman's name all in one movie. I fast forwarded through that for y'all because it was a very, very long final act of this movie. I'm talking about, I thought this movie was getting ready to end about 45 minutes before it actually ended. That's really my only gripe of the movie. I just felt like it kind of overstayed its welcome a little bit. Not that I was mad at it, but it just kind of felt like it was longer than it needed to be. We got a lot in this movie. The movie doesn't fall off as it gets to its end either. We see Superman enjoying some memories of his parents from Kansas, really seeing how much they mean to him and how they've raised him to be a great man. Because he used to do the same thing with his parents from Krypton. He used to play that message back over and over and over again, believing it was some good shit they was telling him. It was great seeing that first post-credit scene of Superman and Krypto hugging out Superman while Superman's overlooking the Earth while sitting on the moon. It was such a quick post-credit scene, but it was so wholesome. And then the second one was Superman and Mr. Terrific. Superman talking about something. The building look a little uneven. I don't know. Mr. Terrific just storming off like, I tried my best, man. Yeah, this movie was really good. As corny as it might sound, I really loved seeing Superman be a good guy. I know he's regularly a good guy, but I had to appreciate the emphasis that James Gunn puts on Superman being a good guy in this movie. Somebody that people not only know they're protected with, but also are comfortable going to have a random conversation with him on the block. There's one scene when Superman was locked up being held against his will by the Krypton that the Rock dude was producing. Lex Luthor is literally playing with this one dude's life that we seen Superman link up with earlier on in the movie. This guy was trying to help Superman out the rubble after Ultraman done pounded him into the ground. Because he helped Superman, Lex decides to kidnap him, throw him in this void state that he got every other prisoner in. Like, no way this shit is legal at all. On his second attempt to Russian roulette, he takes bro out right in front of Superman's face. That shit was despicable. Then he's gonna tell Superman, I'm gonna collect more people who know you and clap them just the same way. Maybe I'll go ahead and get Clark Kent in here next. Nigga, good luck with that. Obviously, I already know I thought that David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult had the best performance in this movie, but there were some other great performances in this movie as well too. I love Lois Lane in this movie. I loved her dynamic with Superman throughout. I love seeing the genuine, earnest love they shared, but also the bickering between the two like they was a married couple. I also love seeing the lengths that Lois was willing to go in order to save Superman from that void state, and they wasn't even really dating for real. You're a real one though. We gotta put her up there with Keisha from The Shy and Dina from The Last of Us. Speaking of Dina from The Last of Us, we gotta talk about the Justice Gang in this movie. I thought they was all pretty solid. I especially love Mr. Terrific. Love the highlight play he had when he was mollywopping all those people with just his tech on that one island that Lex Luthor owned before they went into the void dimension to save Superman. The way they put together that scene and had Mr. Terrific put in belt to ass like that shit need to be studied. He was definitely a standout in this movie to me. I also like Guy Gardner a lot. I don't know, his actor just has that face of an asshole. He played the role so well. I love seeing how he manipulated his Green Lantern abilities as well. He put mitts on the one kaiju. And then Isabella Marcet in this movie, she was cool. She looked good throughout, I'll say that. But Hawk Girl didn't really get much dimensions to her character in this movie, unfortunately. I hope that changes as the DCU continues. Yeah, the Justice Gang was cool. I also really like the robots and Superman's dynamic with Crypto early on in the movie, where Crypto is just this bad dog and Superman's just trying to rein him in. That's how I be feeling with my dog for real. My dog the best boy in the world, but he don't be wanting to listen to instructions. That should be getting me tight. And imagine how Superman feels taking care of a superpowered dog that's not even his. Shout out to his cousin Supergirl that was included later on in the movie. Shorty was played by Rhaenyra from House of Dragon the whole time. The casting in this movie was elite top to bottom. Overall, man, this movie was great. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 off the first watch. James Gunn, you cook. If you're looking forward to what's in store for the rest of the DCU after this one, but y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments as always.